Welcome to the program. I'm Mark Imperial. This segment's being brought to you by booksgrowbusiness.com. It's the place where busy professionals get their books done and published to educate consumers, grow their businesses, and to leave a legacy. I'm doing a series of spotlights on remarkable business brokers and business intermediaries across the country. Joining me on this segment is Lida Sidati. She's a broker with Liberty Business Advisors. Lida, welcome to the program.
Hi, how are you?
I'm well, thank you. Lida, thanks for joining me today. Tell us a little bit about your work and specifically, who are the types of clients that you specialize in helping?
So we're a merger and acquisition company. Basically, what we do is we help sellers exit their business owners to exit their business, and for new investors that are looking to enter into the market of different industries, help them invest their funds into a good business that suits them.
In the news today, we're hearing a lot about this great resignation and people wanting to leave the Dilbert cube and go into business and purchase a business. So have you seen an uptick in interest from either people wanting to purchase businesses or even sellers realizing, hey, this is a seller's market? What have you noticed out there?
For us, it's always been the case. I know the news is just not picking it up, but we have a lot of people who are, especially in the tech world, who are interested in coming out of their work environment and get more into self-employment and everything. But overall, we've seen a little bit of uptake on that part. Thank goodness on that part. We've been getting a lot of calls since California officially opened. So it's been insanely busy for us. So it's great. The markets we work out of, it's our core market is restaurants, gas stations, liquor stores, and smoke shops. But since we have 60 agents and 8 different offices around California, we have people who do manufacturing. I love laundromats. That's my specialty. And I love doing those. But we do manufacturing, we do some e-commerce, and so forth. Cannabis is beginning to be really big lately. The cannabis industry for us is beginning to be a very big market for us. But we sell just about everything and anything as long as it generates revenue.
I understand that in the M&A world, for the most part, a lot of the brokers are representing the sellers. Do you do that as well, or do you equally help buyers in the market try to find a business?
So it's equal in some lessons. State of California in itself states that we're always the seller's agent because they are hiring us to do the job. But that doesn't mean we leave the buyer out in the cold, at least not our office. The way we work is we know the seller is going to sell and move on to their next project or retire, whatever the case might be. Right now, the baby boomers are looking to retire. So we're working with them aggressively to create an exit strategy. It's one thing to sell the business. It's another thing to create an exit strategy where they're gaining most of the funds to themselves instead of paying capital gain and so forth. So our niche is to create that exit strategy. Some of them, they're working with us for 2 to 3 years before they sell. Some of them they're doing instantly because most of their work is ready. But to most point, we are here to help the buyer too, because most of the people who we deal with are first-time buyers. So we have to hold their hand through the process, teach them where they need to get their licenses, whether it's just a simple business license or any other criterions they need to meet to own that business, through the from hello to goodbye and congratulations, we're there. So we handle it all for them. We understand it's imperative that we give good service to the buyer because ultimately they're going to turn around and become our sellers down the road. So we like repeat business. It keeps us going.
That's great. I also imagine that sellers a lot of times are probably first-time sellers if they've been in a business a long time. Maybe it's been a family business. So is now, at the tail end of this pandemic, is this actually a good time for them to consider selling? What's the market been like?
Yes, right now we have more demands on for all industries. We have more buyers than we can keep track of and keep count of because it's just so many of them that call. So this is an ultimate time for the sellers to want to sell. They can call us. We do free evaluation of the business to kind of get an idea what the business is doing. The myth for the sellers is I have to wait for the business to be slowing down, or if the business is for sale, it means that it's not a good business. I deal with a very high end clients that make really great net income, anywhere between 250, 300, $400,000. And that's nothing to sneeze at. So there are people who have healthy businesses. It's just a matter of the fact that they're changing directions in life, or what they really want to do for life now that they're set financially. The business is holding them back. So either way, we're there to help them out and help them sell their business.
For your sellers who are perhaps selling for the first time a business and don't quite know what to ask for, what are the biggest things on their mind? What are their biggest concerns when they reach out to you?
Most of them is, are we going to be discreet? And that is one of our essential things that we talk to them about, that yes, your business sales is going to be discreet. We're not going to advertise your name. That's the difference between using a strong business broker or using a residential agent. We have our own places where we do our ads and everything, and we keep a blind ad going on purpose because we need people to call so we can pre-screen the buyers. Ultimately, we're looking to see if that business is going to be a right fit with that buyer and the funds are available. That's the biggest part that we're working with. So their thing is, it will be discreet because they don't want their employees or their banks or their vendors to know what's happening, because it could be detrimental to their business. They could, people get scared when they hear some places for sale. They stop going there before it's even sold, thinking it's changed of the ownership already. So the other part is, how long does it take? And for a business broker, even if you price it well, it usually takes about 4 to 6 months to sell the business. We don't have the same pool as a residential in the market, number one. Number two, buyers, they'll tell you the general idea of what they're looking for, but when they look at the place, then they get more specific. So will that business be a good business for them is the key then.
That's great insight. You mentioned earlier a big myth for sellers is that they have to wait till either the business is slowing down or something like that. Are there any other big myths or misconceptions that sellers may hold that may not be quite true?
The biggest one is the number in their mind for the price of the business. It's always more inflated because they think their blood and sweat should have a number on it. And it does, but it comes down to, what was your numbers on your taxes? Did you show all, or did you show some? And how are you showing everything? The biggest myth is that they should be putting their household stuff into it just to cut taxes. They need to work with a professional CPA and listen to that CPA. There is a lot of ways where you don't have to pay taxes, but the CPA can help you to strategize where to put money. You should have money in your 401k. You should, as a business owner, have some sort of retirement fund that you should be adding into, hopefully. You gotta, if you want the number, if you're looking at 7, 8, a million, 2 million for the price of your business, then you can't be showing a net of loss. That's where a lot of, I'm going to the extreme on it, but the reality of it is the fact that when you want that big number as a purchase price to set yourself up for retirement, then show your numbers properly, the way it needs to be in order to be able to get the true evaluation. A lot of times they tell us one thing, and then once we look at the books and records, the numbers don't support the pricing we're putting because they told us this much, and it is what it is. The numbers are black and white. So it becomes, okay, now you have to, but what they're doing in the meantime is when the peak of the ad is going out, which is the first 2 to 3 weeks when a lot of calls are coming in for that ad. That is the peak time when we can capture the right buyer. But unfortunately, with them putting it too high or wanting to put it too high before we push it back down to the reality number, then it hurts their business because we can't sell it fast enough because they were so high and people realize that the numbers don't add up. Buyers are very savvy out there right now, very educated, very savvy. It's not like the old school times.
Lida, what inspired you to get into this industry and help sellers of businesses and buyers, make matches? How did you get started?
Um, so in college, I liked finance a lot. Those were, of all things, my favorite subjects, even though I was really not good at math in high school, but in college, I suddenly turned a corner on that. My brother, Matt Sidati and Eric Sidati, they too were in this business, and they encouraged me because they were doing very well with it and so forth. And Matt's been in this business for 40 years. Eric's been about 25 years. They were like, you should really think about coming aboard. I was doing mortgages before that, and then the market had a crash. And it was very tight to try to do loans at that time because of the crash on the market. So I chose to go this route because my heart wasn't into the whole idea of selling homes that much. I liked the loan part, but I didn't care to be driving people around and showing them homes after homes. So this was the next best, or the really best thing for me to do and everything. And once I've got into it, I fell in love with it. It's not an easy work. Trust me, there's days that people drive you to the point of drinking and you're like, okay, how strong of a coffee can I drink? Because I need something to drink right now. But it's not easy, but it's enjoyable for me because when I see that I'm helping somebody make their dreams come true of ownership of a business, or the seller is going, yes, now I can go to Europe and enjoy my family in Europe and I don't have to work so hard anymore. So that in itself brings rewards that's beyond anything because you're making everybody's little dreams come true.
Lida, I really appreciate that. Before I ask you my last question, for folks that are considering selling their business, but they don't know where to start and they don't know what to look for in an M&A advisor or business broker, what's the most important thing they should consider when choosing a broker to work with?
One of the things is keep an open mind, interview a couple, don't latch on to the first person. Ask them questions. People ask me questions all the time. How long have you been doing this? How many other businesses have you sold? What kind of businesses do you normally sell? I am very honest. If I haven't done it, I say I haven't done it, but I'll take my shot at it if you let me. And interesting enough, they usually do. I mean, I've sold everything from not only laundromats and gas stations, liquor stores, but staging companies. I've sold gyms just because people were willing to give me the opportunity. Ultimately, my job at the end is the same thing: is bring the buyer, negotiate the pricing, do the process that I have to go through, the tedious process we go through, and try to keep any kind of liabilities at bay and away from us. But basically shop around. At least there's not that many of us out there. At least ask 2 or 3 different offices and see what they have to say. And then whichever one feels better for you, that's the one you should be going with. It's for us, we don't get in front of people as much as we should, just because of the fact that there's so much background stuff that we have to take care of. But they're more than welcome to call us. We do free evaluation of their business. We help them set up exit strategies if they wish to. This is for businesses that are going to be over 200,000 plus in sales. Help them set up business strategies that's going to help them exit the business properly. Understand what is it they want that from that agent to be able to help them out properly. Knowledge is key with what we do. knowledge is key because you can keep a lot of ugliness at bay and make it a smooth transition where everything falls into place without making it look effortless. But there's a lot of work that's been done to it.
For folks listening that are interested in selling their business and would like to speak with you, and also for folks that are interested in getting into a business in some of the areas that you mentioned, how can they find you, connect with you, and learn more?
Where our website is lbaweb.com, Liberty Business Advisors Web.com. My phone number is 925-325-2434. That's my direct line. Or they can call my office, 925-932-2450. We're located, our main office is in Walnut Creek, where I work at, but we also have Dublin, Oakland, San Diego, LA area, the Fresno. We just got captured Fresno and Sacramento also. Sorry, we just keep growing lately, so keeping it up is hard. But anyways, they can call me 925-325-2434, and I'd be happy to direct them to an agent that's in our office that's closer by.
Lida, this has been terrific. I really appreciate you taking the time and sharing with my audience today, and I wish you continued success for you and for all of your clients.
Thank you, and I wish the same for you and all your listeners.
That was Lida Sidati. She's with Liberty Business Advisors. And this segment's been brought to you by booksgrowbusiness.com. It's the place where busy professionals get their books done and published to educate consumers, grow their businesses, and to leave a legacy. That's all for now. I'm Mark Imperial, and thanks for joining me.